So today I'm going to talk to you guys about how I went from working 5 days a week to 3 days a week. I made more money, and I'm going to talk to you about what the reframe was that was underneath the ability for me to shift my entire relationship to business and how I actually started to make more money. So for context, where it started is I started working 5 days a week when my son was born so that I could go ahead and increase the amount of money we were making because my wife had stopped working. So I felt a lot of pressure as a man to go ahead and provide for the family and replace her income. In that, I then fell into a pattern where I was actually more married to the business than I was to my wife. My wife went from being my first wife to my second wife because the business actually became my first wife. And it started to create disconnected home. I would not have enough energy to go ahead and show up for my wife or for my child because I had given everything to work, because I had placed this importance on the work that if business was performing a certain way, my family would be okay. There was a safety piece and a security piece, and how the business was doing meant how my family was doing. And it's not that this is a wrong frame of mind, but it leads to burnout, right? It's not sustainable. So what I had to do is reappropriate the way that I was actually relating to work. I had to shift from work being the primary focus to work being an equal focus with my family. Because for me, what's the point of making a lot of money if your family life is a mess? How many people do we know? How many men do we know that their marriage is in shambles, yet their business is thriving, so people put them on a pedestal? But is that really the sign of a man who's in full embodiment and full balance? No, it's not. So can you actually create a shared vision with your partner where they understand where it is you're wanting to go with business, but you're not leaving them in the dust and leaving them behind and leaving them full of resentment, right? So for me, I very much wanted to reprioritize the way that I showed up for my family. So I knew that I needed to stop working 5 days a week, yet I didn't know how to get there. The business operated a lot with the amount that I did. I produced $1 million a year doing 5 days a week. I didn't know how we could maintain the numbers of the business and how I could maintain the responsibility that I felt while working less, because I was, in essence, a bottleneck of the business. So for a business owner that's watching this, I want you to understand that there are ways to actually remove yourself from the business, create more space, give opportunity for team members to go ahead and step forward, and for you actually to step back a little bit, and yet you can still make more money. It might be a little bit of a sacrifice, it feels like, temporarily, yet in the long run, it can create more money. And what happened for me was we went from 5 days to 4 days to 3 days eventually in my work schedule, yet every time I did that, I actually made more money and I actually improved my productivity and my efficiency. No longer would I have wasted time because time became so valuable because I was not there as often, right? So my appointments became more productive. I learned how to actually improve my communication with patients. I wasn't as burned out or tired, so I was actually able to give more effort. And the secret ingredient underneath all of it was the reframe that I'm about to share with you. And it was that the better the business did, the better I would do is the original frame of mind. Yet what I shifted it into is the better I did, the better the business would be. So once I shifted the focus inward onto me instead of being outward onto the business, that's when things really started to take off for me, because I started to focus on my own inner work journey. And my own inner work journey actually changed my confidence. It changed the way I presented. It changed the way that I spoke. And it changed the way I communicated. And my communication and my confidence were the two biggest ingredients to get people to say yes to what it is that we felt was the necessary treatment for them. We didn't overdiagnose, but we just recommended what we thought was appropriate, and people would say yes much more often than not because they felt confident that we were being true, we were being real, we were being genuine. It wasn't a show. We weren't putting on a performance. We were just being us. Yet I had to learn how to step into being who I am in order to do that. The authentic me is what I had to discover and unearth so I could actually present in a real, genuine way to my patients. I didn't have to present the specific way they expected of a doctor, and rather I presented as Miles, who happened to be a doctor. And that changed everything, because then people were able to trust on a deeper level. And actually the quality of my work improved, because the more honed in I was with my confidence and my skills, the more I was actually able to perform better. So a lot of us, we're burned out, we're spinning our wheels, we don't feel like we have any control over how it is that we're showing up in our business, yet our quality is suffering because of our lack of ability to create separation between us and the business. So if we can create more capacity and more life force energy and more confidence, we can actually show up and deliver a more high quality product. In this case, for me, it was dentistry. So for you in your business, where can you start to delegate and separate from the business and actually step back a little bit, give other people opportunity, and help yourself step into being more confident and delivering a higher quality product? So for me, it's actually that reframe of the better I do, the better the business will be. That's in essence taking the identity that you are your best ROI. I know a number of business owners who know the KPIs of their business, but they don't know the KPIs of their life. How's your life work balance? Are you in right relation with your relationship? What the big impetus for me was that I did not want to live 30 or 35 years as a dentist and not be connected to my wife. I didn't want to put her on lower on the totem pole. I actually wanted her much to be an equal with what was a priority in my life, because for me, a thriving marriage is one of the absolute secret ingredients to thriving in business. Because without going home to a home that you want to be in, then what's the point of creating a business if you have no one to share it with? If you go home and your wife doesn't care about your progress and doesn't share in the shared vision that you have for the future, then what's the point of all the work? It's like you want to have someone to go celebrate with. Of course, you want to have your own internal validation as well, but you need to be able to celebrate. And for me, that was a big piece of it. Is I wanted my wife to come on the journey with me, not just be there and me tell her how we're doing, right? So creating that separation and actually stepping out of the business more ended up leading to me being more productive, the business being more efficient, other people having opportunities, and I actually made more money while my marriage improved. And for me, that was the biggest measurable. Yes, you can't quantify that, but for me, the marriage piece is the thing that was the ultimate priority. Now, of course, today, I'm standing here not working at all as a clinical dentist any longer, but I went through that experience of going from 5 days to 3 days, and I saw the success that it can bring. And I had a very cushy life. I didn't need to leave and moved to Sedona because I needed to work less as well. I'm probably working more now creating this business. Yet for me, this was about what the heart desired. Yet in the time, dentistry was feeling a little bit like a drain, and I was able to separate myself and yet improve my productivity, because my inner work journey was the thing that unlocked the authentic me. And the more I was able to show up in a real way was how I was able to connect with people, and they felt more confident in the treatment that I was providing, and the quality of the work actually improved. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If you are working 5 days a week and feeling burned out, you have to get honest with yourself about where it is that you can cut back and create that separation. And as you do that, you'll actually reap the rewards far more than you could imagine. So thanks for watching today. Check out the next video. Make sure you subscribe as well. I'm going to have a lot more business professional pieces coming, and I want to help you directly improve the quality of your life-work balance, and that your business delivers everything you want, yet you're going to have the marriage of your dreams.